So guys, Rachel Reeves has literally just announced the spring statement, and there's a lot to digest from this, but basically before we went into it, there were fears that she would cut a cash ISA from 20k to a 4k allowance. Now, although she didn't actually speak about this throughout her speech, within their document, it said that they're planning to reform the structure of individual savings accounts to get the balance right between cash and equities. Now, at the moment, obviously, you get 20k and you can choose how to split this between a stocks and shares ISA and a cash ISA. Now, I believe that obviously the 20k allowance would not go down, but it would probably end up going into a 4k maximum into a cash ISA, which would leave people 16k to go into a stocks and shares ISA. Now, this is like a really interesting point because it's obviously to promote people investing, especially in the British economy. It says, for the first time in a long while, there appears to be a joined-up attempt to fix problems in UK capital markets between Treasury, the stock exchange, and the regulators. So I think there'll be too much of a pushback on this, if I'm honest, for them to ever implement it. I don't think they'll go as extreme to 4k because obviously I think they'll definitely propose it at some point, but I don't think it will ever get announced. I think that obviously it does show that they're looking into changing our current ISA system, and I think that we will see changes to that, but yeah, I personally can't see this going through because I think that it promotes investing to the average person, and I think that a lot of people, especially in the UK, don't have the correct mindset of investing and the long-term growth. Now, don't get me wrong, my channel is built on investing, the power of it, and also how important it is for people's future. But I do think that the average person in the UK, their view isn't towards retirement, it's towards trying to get a house because they have a view that house prices are going to continue to soar, and they just want to try and jump on the property ladder before they feel like it already seems like an unachievable goal to a lot of people my age, but even more so. Now, within the spring statement, it said that the OBR says changes to England's planning system announced last year will boost house building by 170,000 over 5 years, growing the size of the economy by 0.2%. Now, that may seem like a lot of houses, but you know, will it really change the price of the houses for people my age to prioritise investing in the economy instead of trying to get on the ladder? I think one, it's important to understand the financial literacy of people and how high it is and how it needs to be improved. This isn't just in the UK, this is all around the world. Basically, there's a statistic that 70% of people who invest, called retail investors, actually lose money. This tends to be because people see their money go down, so they sell at a loss. So that's one thing which they would have to really improve on before implementing this, I think. The other thing I would say is just understanding people's priorities at this stage. I think that investing takes a lot of dedication and a lot of patience, which, as I said, people in the UK just have different priorities. And obviously one of the benefits of a cash ISA is that it's meant for money that's needed in a shorter term, hence 5 years, whereas stocks you're looking at on a longer time frame. I just think that yes, trying to improve people's knowledge in investing and trying to get people to invest in the economy is beneficial for the UK, but it just needs to be in the right way. Now, I've got quite a few friends who aren't particularly into finance and just, you know, they want to be more into finance, but they aren't. And I think that's reflective of the average person in the UK. And what they've done is that basically they've seen the people around them about my age who have got into finance and they've made a bit of profit in the recent bull runs in the stock market, and they've wanted to get into it. So they've done a cost average into the market, And they found some success with this. Obviously, they would probably, if you're new to investing, you probably think that you're going to get more gains than you actually do. That tends to be a common theme I find with when you speak to new people about stock market. Out of my friends, if they have like an important life event, they tend to actually use the stock market as their emergency fund. So I've had friends who had a stockpile of cash, they had a cash ISA, and they also had their stocks and shares ISA. And without fail, the people who didn't have a long-term goal, like me or a couple of my friends, with their stocks, actually they were first to draw the money out of their stocks and shares ISA before touching the other two. And I think that this just shows people's priorities. And also, I almost feel like there's a barrier to entry with what to invest in. Whereas obviously with cash, you can just hold the cash. Cash ISAs just tend to normally act as basically the same as high yielding savings accounts, where you can just shove the money in, you get your interest, happy days, don't need to know that much about it. Whereas I feel like with a lot of people, they find there's a bit of a barrier of entry with a stocks and shares ISA, although like the providers tend to be the same, and there's a lot of people who provide both. They struggle to open up a stocks and shares ISA just because they're afraid of what to invest in, whether they're going to lose money, and the risks associated with it. Now that makes me continue to the point that if they want to drive money back into the UK stock market, they need to do what America's done before Trump has messed it all up and made it all go wacky and drive investors out, but provide more opportunities for tech and other growth companies to come back into the UK, because I know quite a few have exited the UK in the last few years. And two, as I've stated before, I think they just need to really improve the knowledge of investing. So with that said, let's have a look at what else was actually announced within the statement. So the OBR has downgraded predicted growth for this year from 2% to 1%, which has probably been expected really. Now I did a whole video a few days ago basically trying to explain why the S&P has corrected. A correction is 10% in the stock market and any major indices. Now, due to Trump's tariffs and the geopolitical tension in the world at the moment, you know, a lot of people have forecasted slower economic growth in a lot of countries. So it's not specific to just the UK, but it's upgraded estimated growth for the next 4 years to 1.9%, 1.8%, and then 1.7% in the next few years. Can we trust this? I think obviously with anything, the further you forecast, the more it diverges to the truth. But I personally don't think we're going to hit that, especially in the stated direction we're hitting in the UK. Yeah, I personally think it's going to fall below that target, but that's yet to be seen. Now, what does seem good is that the inflation forecast is expected to hit the 2% government target from 2027, which obviously is good because you don't want high inflation, because that will see the price of goods and the price of everything go up around you. So that's finally good. Now, there was a lot more to digest as part of this statement, especially with in regards to welfare and also increased spending in defence. I imagine this is because of the whole Trump situation as well. A lot of Europe is on quite high alert at the moment, and also a lot of cost cutting in there. But I won't fully go into those details in this video because I'm a finance channel and I don't want to get too political outside of just outside of what could affect our holdings.